So 3 years is probably a fairly long time to wait for a product review update, right? But that's because I didn't plan on doing an update. But I'll tell you the truth. At this point, I'm so impressed with this stuff, I feel that I have to go back and revisit it. And I know that this is something a lot of you guys are going to find useful. So since we started this channel, we've done a bunch of things concerning rust removal, rust control, rust removal. And we set up an electrolysis tank. We tried all different products. And one of the things that we did was we did a shootout. We did a comparison between Evaporust and white vinegar. So we soaked some parts in Evaporust and white vinegar the same amount of time. And, you know, honestly, there was such a little difference between the two that we called it for the white vinegar. Because the white vinegar at the time was like $2 a gallon, and the Evaporust was like $30 a gallon, which is, you know, a fairly significant price difference between the two, especially if you're only going to use it that one time, like we had intended to. But you know, Evaporust is marketed as being reusable, and white vinegar really isn't. So, you know, we reuse that white vinegar a time or two, and then it's done. It's done. Half of it evaporates. It just holds all the rust and filth in you know, suspension. It's done after a time or two. And for $2, you know what? Fine. You know, I can do that all the time. But the Evaporust is marketed as being reusable. And so after we did our test, I poured it back into the gallon container. And several times over the last, you know, I guess it was about 3 years ago we did this. So several times I've needed to de-rust stuff, and I'll reach for the gallon of Evaporust, and, you know, time and time again, it does the job. I'm gonna say I've probably used it about a dozen times. Well, you know what? I just used it again, and this stuff. So let me show you what we got here, right? So I needed some scrap steel to make brackets for this thing, right? So I had these sections laying around, and I says, okay, I'll use this. This is perfect. So I had two of these, and they were identical. They cut off the same vehicle, they led the same life, had the same exact level of scuds. So you can see there's like bodywork dust over this, and then there's rust and just, it's just generally, you know, old beat up metal, okay? So get a good look at that, right? Okay. So night before last, when I left here, I poured the gallon, that same gallon that I've been using of Evaporust into a container, into a pan, and I dropped the sister to that chunk of metal into it. Well, just now I'm pulling it out to check it. I'm getting ready to cut the metal up and start using it, right? Look at this. I did no prep to this at all. This is exactly how I dropped it in. And I haven't cleaned it. This is the first time I'm actually, you know, brushing things off of it. But look at the difference. So, okay, here's the line where it sat and soaked up to that line. So here's what it started out as, and here's what we got now. So it obviously needs a cleaning. Wait, let me tilt this. It obviously needs a cleaning. It's just fresh out of the soak tank. But you can see that once I just, you know, rinse that down with some gasoline and you know, like a brush, it's going to be beautiful. This stuff works. Yeah, like I said, I've used it a bunch of times, and it keeps producing the same results. I'm going to pour this back into the container. All right. I've never strained it. I've never done anything with it. I'm just going to pour it back into the container, and it'll do the same job for me again the next time. So yeah, it's pricey, and this is not a commercial. I bought the Evaporust the same way anybody else would. There's no affiliate links in the bottom. I absolutely get no benefit whatsoever from anybody buying or not buying a Evaporust. But I had to do this because after all of this time, this stuff is still kicking. That $30 investment, it was worth every penny of it. It's not like, you buy a liquid and you say, okay, well, this is just a disposable liquid. I'm going to use it. I'm going to throw it away. No, this stuff, it actually belongs in your toolbox. It's a tool that you can keep using over and over and over again. So, all right, like I said, just a quick update. I'm very impressed with this stuff. Thank you for an excellent product of Vapor. Look at my thumb. Thank you for an excellent product of Evaporust. All right, that's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.